Been a crazy winter. Are you ready for some sunshine? Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to have some fun experimenting with all of the punches that have come out recently that have sunshine. I don't know if you've noticed this or not. Maybe I'm the only one, but we've had quite a few punches that have come out and into the CM world within the last 4 to 6 weeks that all have something to do with the sun. Maybe it's because it's winter and we've had such unfriendly ice in areas that don't normally get iced over. We have some wonderful punches that are going to remind us that the sun is just around the corner. Also, don't forget about my raffle that I have going. We are so close to getting 2,000 subscribers. I thought it would be fun to do another raffle. So every time that you comment on my channel, I will enter you in the drawing, and when we reach 2,000 subscribers, I will draw names for Creative Memories exclusive merchandise. And we all love Creative Memories products, so it'll be fantastic. And I am looking forward to it. And so I hope that you will comment often and let me know what you think about the layouts that you're seeing and give me any ideas that you have of things you might like to see in the future. Thanks so much. Let's check out my workspace and we'll have some fun playing with paper today. All right, here is my workspace for today. And we probably should have had these sitting out so you could see them. So we have had an unusual number of sunshine-related punches here lately. I don't know if you are even familiar with all of these, but these are the just a few of the punches that we've had that have come out in recent days that have something to do with the sun. Makes you wonder, it has been winter for a while, so I get the fact that we are all feeling a little bit like, it's time, right? It's time for spring. Although we here in Utah are a little behind the curve and we have been suffering for lack of a winter this year. We've had cold weather, but we have not had snow. So we just recently had a fairly large storm and we got some snow finally, which was really lovely, but we have not had a lot of snow. So it has felt like spring for a really long time here already. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. But we are going to talk about some of the new punches that all have to do with the sunshine, and hopefully that will warm you up. I like to play with my punches when I get new ones, and especially if they are in any way related to each other thematically. I think it's really fun to see what you can create with them. And so I sat down the other day and thought, let's see what we can put together here. So one of these punches came from the secret box. And that one is this one right here, the Sunbeam punch. This came from the secret box number 1. So, and this punch made this border right here with these beautiful flowers, which were so fun to put together. And you could probably modify this and make them even like 3-dimensional, which I think would be so fun. This punch here is our NSD sunflower punch, and it made this border right here, which I think is super cute, and I'm going to show you how to make that here in just a second. This punch here came from the Escape. So if you were one of the lucky advisors who won the Escape trip this year, we got this punch for earning the escape. And this punch, this Border Maker cartridge, is one of our brand new Border Maker cartridges. It's called the Sunrise Scallop. And so, and I used that in this layout as well, or in these border layouts as well. I used it here as the leaves. So, anyway, just lots of fun to play with these. I'm going to show you how to make each one of these, and we're going to just work our way through them. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do, and I need another one for the second page or the second portion of my border as it is. So this one right here is made by duplicating your punch on both sides of your paper instead of just one. And that can be hard to figure out, but you just play with it. So this is a 2.5 inch by 12 inch piece of paper that I folded long ways, and then I punched it. And this is the design that we got. And now the center looked a little like a football at 2.5 inches, so I extended that. And I tried 2 3/4, and this is what you get with 2 3/4. I tried 3 inches, and you get more of a circle with 3 inches. 3 1/4 inches gives you a little more of a squished circle looking round center portion of the flower. So it just sort of depends on the shape that you prefer to go with. This one at 2 3/4 is a little closer together. And then if you cover it with a circle on top, which is what I did, then it would it'll cover a little more of the sun points that you have off of it, but still would work. And this was me just playing around with trying to figure out the dimensions and what I would need to be able to use that green as the leaves for on the bottom of this one. All right, let's go ahead and play a little bit. And this is me just playing with layering some different colors together to just see what that might be like. Okay, so I'm going to start with these flowers up here, the sunflowers that I made into turquoise flowers because I just thought they were pretty. And we're going to start with those. So let's get that punch out. This is what that punch looks like when you're just punching it in as a chain, and it's just really, really pretty. This is just my scrap paper that I punched it out of, and it is a really pretty and nice and delicate flower, and I really like it. I could not find a punch that would fit the center of this. So finding a circle that is only about 1/2 inch in diameter, I don't have any circle punches. I didn't check my old CM ones. No, those look too big to be 1/2 inch. I don't know how to do that 1/2 inch circle. So if you have an idea of how to do that 1/2 inch circle, I would love it if you would comment and let us all know how we might do that. But so I fiddly cut all of these little circles for the inside of this, and man, that took a long time. That was not a fast endeavor. So I'm going to show you basically how I did this, and I'm not going to show you how I fiddly cut all those little tiny insides because man, that was a lot. All right, so I have 3 different shades of roughly the same colors here. I have, and I'm trying to remember exactly which ones these are because I knew that your inquiring minds would want to know. Let's see. Nope, that is not it. I know Island Waters is one. This is the Island Waters. That's the main floral portion is Island Waters. And then I have this one, and this one I am sad to say is not labeled, so it is out there flapping, as my husband would say. And I I don't know exactly what color that is. And I'm actually not sure I have the other ones, which is not helpful to you. Tropical Wave. So this middle one is Tropical Wave. This one is the one we just identified, and then this lighter one is the one that I don't know. I don't know what it is, and I don't have it labeled, and it was just a single sheet sitting in here in my stash. So I apologize for that, but that is the color. The one that's unidentifiable is the one I used for the center of the flower. So you could certainly just use yellow or a pale yellow like canary or something like that, and that would work. But basically you are going to take each one of these and you are going to punch a row of the flower. Now, I'm sorry, you would think I would do these things ahead of time, wouldn't you? Because I punched these when I was creating the sample, I have little notches. So let's talk about the little notches. Do you see the little notches that I have that I'm cutting off here? These little tiny arrow-looking bumps on my papers. Those are because some of our punches are a little bit repetitive in design, and the design is so spot on that to enable us to punch a little more effectively, they give us this little notch right here. Can you see that little notch? That little notch is meant to help to guide you so that you can quickly and easily punch through your design without having to go back and repeat. So if you punch once, let me get this one lined up. There we go. And then you go through. If you, for some reason, you're in the middle here and you stop counting, you'll come all the way out like this and go, oh no, and then have to go back. The notch is designed so that you match the notch, and if you're focused on matching the notch each time, then you're not going to overshoot it. You're going to know that that's where you need to stop and go ahead and do the next punch. Just saves you a little bit of time and effort, heartache, craziness. We never have that. All right, so we're going to take this medium shade, or I guess this is the darkest shade, sorry. This is the darkest shade. We're going to cut or punch 2 rows of this shade. And you want that because this is the shadow underneath. So you're going to punch it twice. Well, you're going to punch 2 rows of it anyway. And I do that by punching both sides of my paper. So then I end up with notches down both sides of my paper, which, is what it is. It's okay. And if you enjoy the petals, you could save all these little petals and use them maybe in a shaker card or something. I think that would be really cute. All right, now this is the medium shade. And we're going to go ahead and punch a row of the medium shade. This is going to go right down the center. All right. And then we're going to use the lighter shade. And this is for the fiddly cutting of the little middles. Which I'm not going to force you to sit through and watch. All right, so 3 different shades of roughly the same color. And then we're going to take a strip of white paper and we're going to use our small circle from the custom cutting system and the green blade, and we are going to go through and we're going to cut, let's see, there's 9. I believe we need 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no, 10. There's 10 flowers. So we're going to cut 10 circles. And the key to using your custom cutting system effectively is keeping those little teeth or the little feet that are inside in the trough so that they're not sliding around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need one more circle. I got a little wild and didn't get these as close together as I probably should have tried to do. So let me grab another piece of scrap paper, and we'll just cut one more. And you see these little like hairs that end up, I always end up with the little tiny little start and stop hairs on mine. And that's because I'm leaning one direction or the other as I'm cutting. But usually I just snip them off with my fingernail just like that. And I don't worry about it too terribly much. But okay, so there's our 10 circles, and it's not critical that they be exact in those coming together spaces like I was just mentioning. All right, so now I'm going to take my repositionable adhesive. I'm going to put a layer of repositionable adhesive across the top. I am not one to waste adhesive, but you're going to be glad that you just put it all the way across the top, okay? You're going to take this and you're going to offset it. Now, you could add foam squares to this, which would add a totally super fun dimension to it. And you could add the foam squares now and lift up this center part over above the shadow on the bottom, or or you could add the foam squares underneath the center buttons. Oh, I didn't realize that was going to go out. Give me just a second here. Let's see if I have a refill. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to run that all the way across. And now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to line it up on the bottom. So you're just basically taking that darker color and extending it about almost 1/8 of an inch to the top and the bottom of the center design. And it gives it a shadow underneath, which is lovely. All right, then you're going to take your, now that you have those together, this is going to seem counterintuitive, but this is what I'm going to recommend. You go ahead and peel up that medium color, and you're going to take your adhesive and go ahead and add it. Make sure you got lots of adhesive on that. You're going to take each one of these circles and you're going to cover up the petal area. I'm going to take and put that circle right down so that the edges of the circle match the points on those petals right there. Can you see that? Let's see if it will refocus. It should. Yeah, there you go. See how the edge of the circle is right at the points of those petals right in there? Sorry. I'm watching the monitor instead of watching my hands. Okay, so the points right in there, that white circle goes right on top of those edge of the points, and it will fill up your petals on your flower just perfectly. So you can make those petals whatever color you want. I'm making mine white because that's what I made those up there, and I want this layout or this border to match that one. And you just go through and lay these all in here. All right, and then you're going to come back to your base. Make sure that there's some adhesive on there. You could run it down the middle if you wanted to. There we go. Just want to make sure it's going to hold itself together. And then I'm going to center this on top just like it was before and lay it back down. You could certainly put your circles on before you... Oh, I should have flipped that circle over. Before you re-adhere it like this, you can, or before you add your shadow underneath, you could certainly add your shadow or your petal circle in there. There. Flip that over because it had some dots from my scrap paper. All right, there we go. Okay, so now the only other thing left to do is to go ahead and fussy cut around these circles, and I will do one to show you that it's not hard, it just takes some time. So you just come in here like this and just free up those circles. And I did it this way and fussy cut all these because I just couldn't find a punch that would punch the correct size circle. So if I had a circle punch that worked, I would have certainly used that. But as it is, this was my option. All right, and then you go in and just set it in here like that. You could add a foam square underneath that center, like I was just saying earlier, and pop that up if you wanted to add a little more dimension to your layout. But adding the shadow papers underneath actually does give you a little bit of a shadow effect and gives you that three-dimensional kind of pop-up feeling anyway, because you get just a little bit of a shadow underneath there, which is really, really nice. All right, so that's a fun layout for spring. You could do that in all sorts of different colors. Wouldn't that be super fun? You could even do it in different colors and then fussy cut the blooms apart and put them and reassemble them in different colors, which I think would be really awesome. I just didn't have time to do that one, so there you go. All right, so then this other one, the one made with the punch from the Escape, the Sunny Shores. This one is super fun, and if you can find it, if you didn't earn it, but you can find it, then that would be awesome. But if you did earn it and you have it, this is a fun one to do. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cut several, and I'm wondering what I did with them now, but you're going to want to cut several orange circles and gold circles, and I used my shimmer papers to do this. I used the orange shimmer and the gold shimmer, and And I had a whole bunch of extra ones, and now I don't know where I put them. Oh, here they are. That's good, because then I don't have to cut them. But here we've got orange and we've got gold. And these gold ones are too big, but so they must have been from another project. But here we go. Here's my extras that I cut before. You only need 3 because you need 2.5 to do this. You're going to cut them, you're going to layer them, and you're going to cut them in half. So let me show you how we do that. We're going to take our small template and we're going to use our blue blade and our orange blade. Or sorry, our blue blade and our green blade. Oh, okay. So to cut the orange circle, we're going to use the green blade so that we can then come in with the gold and layer it. Okay, so there's our orange, and then we're going to bring our gold paper in, and we're going to use the blue blade to make a slightly smaller circle. And then we're going to just add some adhesive all the way across that circle because we're going to cut it in half, and just center that on and glue it down. All right. So that ends up being almost a 1 1/4 inch circle and about 7/8 inch circle on top of it. Okay. So then we're going to take our trimmer. Now, typically when we cut a circle in half on our trimmer, it's really easy because we can just balance it on these two shoulders of the lower shoulder or the top shoulder. We can balance it on those 2 points and it will center it perfectly. This is not that easy because the circle is much smaller, okay? But you're just going to center it on here. And basically what I do is I line up the edges each at about, it ends up being the notch or the mark just beyond the 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, and that is half. And you're going to cut that in half. And you need 5 half pieces. So I'm going to do that again with this one. We're going to center it. And I'm going to cut it in half. And those are the pieces that we need for this other side of this layout border, this border. Okay. Then we also are going to need some 1 inch strips. So I'm going to take this this scrap of black, and I'm going to cut it into a 1 inch strip. And I probably could use that. In fact, let's use that. This is 1/2 inch wide, and I need 1 inch strips that are 1/2 inch wide. So we're going to go, I need 5 of them. So let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one is almost an inch. We'll see if that one's good enough. If not, then we'll come back and cut another one. Okay. In addition to that, I'm going to need a piece of this blue shimmer that is 1.5 inches wide. And if you wanted to, you could get the darker blue, and we could do, I'm going to do this one at 2 inches, and I'm just guessing that that's 2 inches on this side of my trimmer because I don't have an accurate way to measure it. That's about 2 inches. Okay. So set those over there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the one moment. I think I set it over here. I did. Okay, I have some pale blue. This is baby blue cardstock. And we're going to go ahead and punch the border using baby blue cardstock. You don't do anything super special. We're not folding anything. We're just punching the border. All right. Now, and you can do this with any of our border punches that have kind of a scene like this, but this one is rather unique. Typically, they don't look quite like this, but that's okay. It's a special occasion, so I think it's cool. All right, so I'm going to take my adhesive, and as I have flipped this over, and I'm going to, and actually I was thinking that it might be cool, now that I've done that, I'm going to take that off for just a second, because I want to think about this for a second. So if I do it this way, my birds are all flying in the same direction. But if I flip this over, then I have birds that are flying in a different direction on the other side of the leg out. And I kind of like that idea. So we're going to flip it over and do this side backwards, essentially. The only thing that changes really is the direction that the birds are going. That's all. We're going to take our little pieces of black cardstock, and we're just going to lay them directly over top of the birds. Try not to block any of the punched out areas surrounding them. You're only wanting to cover where the birds are located. Let's see if this slightly smaller one will work. It works. Great. Okay. Super. So when we flip it back over, our birds are black now. Yay! All right, then we're going to take our precision cutting scissors, and we're going to take each one of these half round pieces. We're going to cut, and this might be a little difficult for you to visualize, but we're going to visualize about an eighth of an inch up from the corner and 1/4 of an inch in. So we're going to cut in about that far. All right, and I know that might be kind of tricky. So if you need to mark it, you can mark it. But it's just an eighth of an inch up and 1/4 of an inch in. And you end up with all of these little candy corn looking pieces all over. It's too bad it's not Halloween time, right? But that's okay. All right. Now I'm going to take my adhesive and I'm going to go around and over, and we're going to get lots of adhesive on my mat, but it's the way it is. Top and under each of those suns. Okay. And I'm going to use my tweezers for this because I have found that it just works better for me with my nails, so that I can place this in a better way. I'm going to do my best to keep the flat part flat, and that's just going to help. If I can do that, it's going to help proportionally to keep the yellow or the gold and the orange where I want it to be for the sun. And I'm just going to place it upside down right on top, and if you want to, you can keep flipping it out over and taking a look to make sure it's in the right place. I did that a fair number of times when I was figuring out how to do this. Okay, this one needs to scooch down just a little. Come here. All right. Most of that off. And there are my sunshines. Okay. Then we're going to take the light blue. We're going to flip this upside down one more time. And we're going to go across here and across those spots where you have a little more paper to work with in the water space. And this is going to get centered on that blue field. So you're going to have like roughly a 1/16 of an inch over each of the swells. To center that. And I cut this darker blue because I thought maybe that would be pretty to add this on. And actually, I'm thinking that what I want to do is trim this. So I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm going to trim this off just like that for right now. And then I want to trim, I want to trim at least a 1/2 inch off of this. So I'm going to trim it off at this edge. So we're going to go, actually I'm going to go with, let's go with 3/8 of an inch and see what that looks like. So 3/8 of an inch. Actually, I kind of like that. That's perfect. So 3/8 of an inch, and I'm going to come in here with my adhesive. And just add that centered right there to the middle. Isn't that pretty? Wouldn't that be perfect for a day at the beach? So cute. Sometimes ideas evolve, and that's what just happened there. So let's fix this one. I'm gonna just trim this right there. And then we might need to trim a little bit from this side. Not much, but just a little, because it needs just a little bit more for centering it. All right. Perfect. This is a week for borders. So there's that one. Pretty. I like that. Okay. That's what it needed. I knew it needed something. You know, sometimes you just look at things and kind of go, that's not quite finished. And that was the case there. Okay, so now we're going to do this one. And this one is using the Sunbeam punch. All right. And the Sunbeam punch is the one that came out in the secret box #1, and we're also going to use the Sunrise Scallop Border Maker cartridge. So let's start with that. And we're going to, actually I'm going to start by cutting a few pieces of of my cardstock here. So we're going to cut the green at 3 3/4. So 3 3/4. And we'll set that to the side. And then we're going to cut the I think this is razzleberry. Razzleberry is going to be, and let me just double check my measurements. Razzleberry is going to be cut at 3 1/2. And this pink, this medium pink, is 3 1/4. It's amazing what 1/4 of an inch can change, right? And then this pale pink, this is baby pink, is just going to be 3 inches. All right. And then we're going to cut some gold circles. And our gold circles are made with gold shimmer. And our small template, a small circle template, and the green blade. Okay, so we're just going to make, we need 5 of them for this. I think I said 5 for the other one, and I was getting them confused. Okay, and if you just leave your blade in the circle and pick up the whole circle and move it, then you don't have to keep realigning your blades in the trough each time, so it becomes a lot faster. All right, so there's my 5 circles. Put that away up there. And you're also going to need your black dual tip pen for this one to do these little dots on the inside and the lines on your leaves. Okay, so first we're going to grab our border maker system, and we're going to start with the base. So we've got our border maker cartridge with our Sunrise Scallop, and here is the paper holder. And we're just going to do both sides of this 3 3/4 by 12-inch piece. Take it out, flip it over. Love border maker cartridges. They're so fun to work with, and you can mix them up and make lots of different patterns with them. Just really fun to use. All right. trash can's getting awfully full. Okay, so there's our base. I'll just set that right up there. Then we're going to take each one of these and we're going to punch both sides of each one of these separately. So this is going to take me just a minute, but if you'll bear with me, we'll make something fun in just a minute. So we're going to line this up, punch both sides. All right. Now we're going to layer our petals. So we're just going to take our adhesive and we're going to add it to each one of these and just center it. Match your edges and center it the best you can on top of the deeper shade below it. Okay, so like that. Then we're going to take our leaves and we're going to put our petals on top of our leaves, matching the ends, and just trying to center each of the flowers so that you get an even amount of leaf on both sides. Then we're going to add our centers. And if you're like me, you have to kind of grab that little extra tail. This center should cover the middle just perfect. And if you're off at all, you can compensate with that circle because it's going to cover a multitude of sins, as they say. So if your centers don't line up exactly, it's okay. And actually, I need another one. There's 6. I said there was 5, but actually there's 6. So let's cut one more. So we can finish this guy up. All right, and then what I did was I just took my dual tip pen. I took the skinny end of my dual tip pen and I just went about 1/8 of an inch in from the edge on the gold and centered on each one of these little rays. And I just added a little dot. I contemplated adding more because flowers tend to have lots of seeds, but I just stopped at the 1 row of dots. You could add more if you wanted. Sure. Just takes a minute to go through and add that little detail. And then the details on the leaves are just drawn in. So I just went and came out from the middle and made kind of an abstract arch and a couple of V's, and did that on each one. And if you wanted to, you can add them on these end pieces. It's a little bit harder because they're smaller, but you can do it if you want. Just like that. What do you think? I'm sure that if you are an artist, then you would know where to put more lines to make these look even a little more flower-like. Maybe some accents in between the sunbursts to make it look like there's a little bit of a fold. I'm not sure because I'm not that good of an artist, but I just like playing with paper, and so this is what I came up with. So if you have suggestions for ways we can make those flowers look even just a little bit more lifelike, that would be awesome. Share those in the comments, would you please? And don't forget, we are still working towards our 2000th subscriber, and we're going to do a drawing based on your comments when we get to 2000. So share my channel with all your paper crafting friends. Ask them to comment. Ask them to subscribe. And when we get to 2000, everyone who's made comments, all of your comments will be an entry into the drawing. So the more times you comment, the more entries you have, and the more times YouTube will share my videos with other people, and hopefully they'll want to subscribe. So I appreciate you watching. I hope that these have been fun for you to learn how to do. I really, really am looking forward to spring and summer and all the sunshine and flowers that come with that. So I hope you are too. And until we get there, we just get to look at them and make them out of paper. Thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.